Rutgers once again has all this momentum. They just signed Dylan Grant, who is not a crazy prestigious recruit. He's not a necessarily super notable guy. Like he's a top 200-ish recruit, but he's notable because of connections he has to some other prestigious recruits. And if you're living under a rock, Rutgers has all the momentum in the recruiting world right now. Ace Bailey is a Scarlet Knight. Dylan Harper is going to be a Scarlet Knight, barring a shocker. Dylan Grant, now a Scarlet Knight. Darius Acuff has announced he will be visiting Rutgers. Noteworthy because Darius Acuff teammates with Dylan Grant on the family, and Trey McKinney also potentially could end up at Rutgers here. We are familiar with Acuff and McKinney big time as State of Michigan guys. Both Michigan and Michigan State are after them. We're also big fans of what Steve Pikel is doing right now and big fans of Rutgers basketball in general. So what do you make of the Dylan Grant commitment, number one? And then two, what the heck is happening at Rutgers, man? Like how much of a threat are they actually to us?
All right, well, I'll start with Dylan Grant first. I think that this pickup is really good because if you take that whole class you just said, now, obviously, I don't think there's a world where they pull off all those guys. That just seems like way too many, way too big of a class, way too many mouths to feed. But that's the thing about Dylan Grant. Dylan Grant is one, he's a late bloomer for sure. He kind of came onto the scene late, started playing for the family this summer, played really well. You know, he plays really well off of other players too. I think that's what the most intriguing thing about him is. He's a player that's getting better, I think, as time goes on, but also he's a guy who you can bring in and he can fit into the fold. You can't, I mean, it's great to bring in, like, obviously you want to bring in all top 10 guys, all 5 stars, but sometimes you need some, guys that are maybe lower level stars, potential guys that could fit into the mold a little bit, play their role, play it extremely well, be happy in their role for the greater good of the team. And I think that's the type of player that Dylan Grant is. His recruitment really picked up kind of heavily as of late. Michigan State was actually taking a look at him. I don't know if they formally offered or not, but I know Xavier was very in on him, and some other schools. So I'm pretty high on his potential. And this also is evident of Steve Pikel also hiring Smoke Williamson to his staff over the summer. Coach Williamson, Smoke, he's been with the family basketball organization for as long as I can honestly remember. Great guy, great coach. And he's been on the prep basketball scene. He was at Central as a head coach, an assistant coach too. Now he's on staff with Pikel. And look, I don't think there's a scarier man on the recruiting trail right now than Pikel. Maybe Bill Self, but like Pikel's second. Like you don't want to see that man. And I think he's doing a great job of honing in on keeping guys in his area. It like have him going to Rutgers, like Jersey guys going to Rutgers, I think is going to start being a thing. And it could be led by the commitment of guys like Dylan Harper, who is the number one player in the country and the number one player in New Jersey. So there's a world, and we talked about it before, Rutgers is going to be extremely scary next year. And I'm scared for, obviously being a fan of Michigan State. Rutgers is going to be extremely tough. And I know I seen, I don't know, mumbling about whether Cliff will be able to come back or not. But if Cliff comes back with this team, and you get back a third-year Derek Simpson, and then you add in all these guys, like that's going to be a really dangerous team, and I'm scared of Rutgers.
It would be so on brand for Big Ten basketball for the first year that USC and UCLA are in the conference. Rutgers is the dominant team. Like I want that to be what happens here so badly. It would be so fun. Now, I have a lot of little talking points I jotted down while you were going through this. First of all, as far as Dylan Grant goes, you know this, you've heard me say this before. I'm a big eye test guy, but not in the like watch them play basketball sense, just in the let me look at a headshot of this guy and decide if he's a good basketball player or not. I'm out on Dylan Grant. I'm out. I get Greg Glenn vibes from Dylan Grant based on just Google image results of him in a basketball jersey. I think he and look, I get like this sounds horrible, like white guy making jokes about how these people look. Like I get it. I trust me, I've made these jokes about white basketball players as well a ton. There's just something like unserious and giggly about the way Dylan Grant looks when playing basketball to me. And
Unserious and giggly.
yeah, it just is what it is, man. I don't know. And look, obviously that's not
He
a
dunks
serious
everything.
Obviously that's not a serious criticism of his game. His offer list is a bunch of mid-majors. We can say like, oh, Michigan State was starting to pay attention to him at all. This is a commitment that matters because he's friends with Darius Acuff, and because are there more things that could come with this? Much more than whatever Dylan Grant will ever do in a Rutgers jersey for me. 2, I want the smoke. I want the Smoke Williamson. Like literally, I want him. I want him on Michigan staff. I want him now. I want to drive to Piscataway and bring him back on a bus myself, put him in my Nissan Rogue and say, you're mine now. Phil Martelli's got to go. He's not doing it for me. He's not doing anything. He's just doing podcast appearances. And I mean, God bless him. He still looks like he's in good shape, but good Lord, my friend, like let's not do this. Sadi, I love Sadi. Huge fan of Sadi. All he's doing is interviewing for Alabama jobs and coming back to Ann Arbor. Not working for me. Let me get the guy who ran the family, who has connections to all these players that, coincidentally, there's good talent in the state of Michigan again, and Michigan and Michigan State aren't getting any of them, but Rutgers is. They're getting all of them because they hired Smoke.
And on top of that, Smoke's a good coach too. Like he knows his shit. He's coached really good players too. Like he is when you talk about the family basketball, everyone knows who Smoke is. Like everyone. Even if you didn't play for the family, if you played AAU basketball or played prep basketball, you know who Smoke is. So having him on the staff would be a great add. I would love to have him on Michigan State staff.
Yeah, it just seems like such a missed obvious opportunity for Michigan and Michigan State teams.
Yeah, how do we let him go to Piscataway?
That's what I'm saying, man. Now, okay, third thing. Rutgers is going to be really talented and really fun. Like, we're going to be super in on them. We're going to talk about it all the time. They'll probably be our favorite team to watch in the country. None of that's going away, no matter what, if they add some of these guys. They still got to be good, though. Like, I think that's the elephant in the room. And I think they can be, but like Pikel's whole tenure, the thing has been kind of like these gritty, grimy overachievers. Like, that's what's made Rutgers good and special. Is like Geo Baker and Ron Harper weren't the biggest recruits ever, but those guys were killers and dogs. And I'm not saying these prestigious recruits aren't dogs, because they are in a different way. But like every Steve Pikel team has been really good defensively and really horrible offensively. So like, is he going to take the number 1 and the number 2 and maybe the number 10 recruits in this class and have an elite defense? Can he even make a good offense? Like, can Steve Pikel make a good offense? I don't know.
But this is the thing, G. We love a good zag when people are zigging. Okay. Pikel was in the Rutgers offices and he says, look, I love these dogs, but I got a crazy concept right here. Follow me on this whiteboard. Here I'm going to write the top recruits in the country. Let's go get them and then let's figure it out from there. We'll figure out the offense and defensive stuff, but let's get these really good guys and then we'll figure it out. We'll all reconvene them and we'll make it happen. Like that's what he did. So I like the approach. Figure it out. Maybe dogs aren't the way to go. Maybe talent's the way to go.
The only other thing I would just caution here, maybe push back on you a little bit. You said Pikel is like the second most dangerous man in America on the recruiting trail right now. Behind you got Bill Self, and then Steve Pikel is the guy people are shaking their boots at.
Yeah, Cook product.
Are we sure that all these commits aren't just guys he had connections with?
That's a good point. Maybe a little bit overreaction by me,
which he deserves credit for. But like, it's the Juwan Howard. Like, oh, he got Jet Howard. Is that a great recruiter, or is he his dad? Like Steve Pikel's about to get Dylan Harper because he got Ron Harper. So like, Ace Bailey's a win, but is there a connection with Bailey? I don't know.
It's one of the staff members, I think, but I don't think it's actually a connection. I think he's just a good recruiter. I can't remember his name.
Okay.
But Uh, I'm just laughing at is he a good recruiter or is he just his dad?
I mean, we often do. Is he a good player or is he just handsome? Is he a good recruiter or is he just his dad?
Honestly, great move though. When you're recruiting a player, you need to look at they have a brother.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jeremiah Fears, need him. Gotta have him. Like that's if you're recruiting somebody, you got to see they got a brother.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mean to downplay what Pikel's doing because it's awesome. It's great for the Big Ten. It's great for Rutgers. They're going to be really fun. We can't wait. I just think there is like a little like this is so different and out of the norm for him. And it seems entirely tied to, oh, he signed assistant coaches that have ties to elite guys. Smart move by him, which is great. But if I were Pikel, hypothetically, I might use one spot on my staff for like an offensive guru, maybe like get the guys that have connections and also get someone who knows how to run some sets because I'm a little scared of like, okay, he gets 5 top 10 talents. What if they're still not a top 100 offense? Like, what does that say about Pikel if they have all this talent and they're just still a bad offense?
If you could take any coach if you could put any coach in the country on Michael's staff, head coach, it could be anybody. Who you putting on?
No brainer. John Beeline.
Okay, a current coach. We don't want that rat on our staff.
Would that not be perfect though?
I was gonna say like Shrews Paint.
I mean, yeah, but it's so hard for me. Like, because you're not just going to hire away those guys, you know? Like, I get what we're doing hypothetical, but like, that's Beeline is the answer to me because Beeline's sitting at home doing nothing.
He's just been building up slurs this whole time. They've been powering up inside of him. He's getting the whole class to transfer.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. I don't know, man. I don't know. Shrew would be fun, but Shrew's going to turn Notre Dame into something, though, right? Like, what's your answer to that?
I would probably say Paint.
Hmm.
But also, like, I don't know if I'm a big staff name guy. Like, you give me Pikel, Shrew, Smoke. Don't know what the third assistant's name is, but if he has an ethnic name, we implement that. That's a scary sight.
I think the last thing Rutgers really needs, like they actually need this. I'm not saying like the last thing they need, like they need this. They need some new kits. We need some new uniforms.
New kids.
Let me get like I'm trying to think. I'm a big like acronym. Like, could we just go by RUT? Could we get like a big RUT on the uniforms?
I feel like it would look like Rochester University Tech or something.
Yeah, maybe. Or they had the one has like the New Jersey state outline. I don't love that though. That's not a great state for an outline.
Yeah, even their like cursive jerseys just don't look that great, and that's tough to do because I'm a big cursive jersey guy.
Mm-hmm.
Script guy, I think is the actual term.
Yeah,
and they don't got that.
Feel like they're underutilizing the knight itself too. Like Michigan State has really embraced the Spartan head, which is one of the coolest logos in all of sports. I feel like Rutgers has some opportunity to twist the knight around a little bit and figure that out. Just saying. All right. Congrats to Rutgers. Huge get, the 207th best player in the country. All the momentum in the world for Steve Pikel right now. Oh, last thing. I did want to ask you this. Do they get Acuff or McKinney?
No. I think it ends up being Harper, Bailey, Grant, and I think they're in for some other higher 4 stars as well.
Where do those guys go?
I think Trey McKinney goes to Michigan or Illinois. And then I think Acuff goes to like Kentucky.
Okay. I have different answers than you. Do you want my answers?
If I had my way, I get Acuff at Houston.
I would love that. I would love that.
Just throwing that out there.
So I think Rutgers does get one of these 2 players. I think it's Trey McKinney.
Okay.
I think that McKinney, from everything I've read and just seen and heard with the buzz, he has some weird schools he's in on. Like he's the prestige of a recruit that could just be blue blood and that's it. He's like very interested in non-blue bloods. I don't know what that means about him. I don't know him personally, but I think of the non-conventional schools that are recruiting him, Rutgers has the best sell here of like, well, come join this awesome group of really talented guys and be a superstar in New Jersey. I think McKinney might buy that. Acuff, I think Rutgers has a good shot at him too, to be honest, but this might be the fandom in me. I'm going to call my shot. I think Michigan gets Acuff.
I think Michigan gets one of Acuff or McKinney.
Okay.
I think they get one of them.
And you'd rather have Acuff, right? He's the better player.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're different. They're different.
I think Acuff's better.
Acuff's probably better. Acuff scares me more.
Yeah.
But McKinney's a bad man too.
Both really good. I would have Rutgers top 5 in the country minimum if they get Harper, Bailey, McKinney. I don't care who comes back. If they got those 3, that's a
Get Griffiths back.
Fun times in Piscataway. We might need to fire up the College Hoops to Go bus and make our way to New Jersey.
Bring back the rack,
please. Let's move on. I threw a hypothetical at you via text yesterday, and I want to do a whole conversation about it.